Okay, so it's just demonstrating the use of a variable fret nut here instead of moving the whole chart over like a crazy GIF, you know, where it moves over like this, and it gets frazzled. I can't do this. We just move the fret nut here, okay? So zoom in a little bit here. Hello cursor mode. So we just draw the fret nut. If we want to be in the key of G, we know that E is going to become the fifth. So we'll draw the fret nut there. That's the key of G now. You know, that's all that is. Now these are no play notes in the G open pattern. You know, the open pattern that you'd play up here. Now I can just take the capo off and extend my register down here because I down tuned my guitar. But starting the E would be, remember, by the fret nut, that's always the E right there. The E would become the 6 there, you see? And I can get that Lone Wolf 7. These are the open chord, these are the open strings, and this is the 7. So with that G it'd be, okay? So doing the diatonic, actually doing the pentatonic, you wouldn't even have to worry about that 7. So we got a G-shaped, string-shaped pentatonic on the bottom here. There's your G right there, right? 6, 7 root with a G in the middle. So remember, these string-shaped labels are always surrounded by the notes that are in that string shape. So it's 6, 7 root. That 7's going to be F sharp in this case. If we want to do the diatonic, it would be a G string shape up there, and then we're going to do a big old S5L. Did I do that right? Did we hit that 7? Let's try that one more time. G shape, and then an S5L. Okay, the 7 warped over. I don't think we did the right. The G shape should up. The G shape doesn't have a G shape single string shape on the bottom. We go right into that big old S5L, and the G shape's going to be on the top. That's why that sounded different. So here's the G shape S5L. There's our F sharp. Okay, so it takes some practice to, you know, learn them. You look at them and they look easy, you know, and then all of a sudden, no, they're not so easy. All right, so here's what we just played. Okay, so it's a full S5L. Remember, this is the label down here. It's just the same color. That's kind of misleading. A full S5L and then a G shape on the top. And that's what we played. The S5L is 2 alias strings with the half steps on the right, and then an A-shaped sandwich there, and then 2 alias strings with the half step on the left, but you warp one up. That's where the 7 becomes the Lone Wolf 7, and then G string shape on top. Okay, so we have to move along in the lesson today. I took a little break there. So remember that what's spelled out here in fifths, I made the fretboard long because I can make it as long as I want. It's just as you know, as long as I have enough room on the diagram. You know, so what we would be looking at is just these guys here. Just these. We're not looking at this right now. up here. Okay, that goes away. All right. So, sorry I moved the diagram there. That's all we're looking at here. And so I made it long enough we could get all 5 cage positions. It goes C, A, G, E, D. Okay? I want to talk about a couple of things today that we have to cover. But again, the string shapes are the C string shape, the G string shape, the D string shape, 2, 3, 4 right there. And we don't worry about the E because the E is from up here, from this guy. Okay, and the A string shape, we don't have to worry about the C string shape because that's up here, kind of same thing, just doing it kind of, you know, a half of a position up, the whole thing. So that's why we get that up there. That's why we have those guys up here, because the C has its own shape up here, kind of sharing that between the D and the A. Now, what are we doing today? Why did I make this chart? This is the a chart to help us do some long patterns. All right. Basic to the long pattern discussion is the S3XL. Remember, that's the middle part right here, 5 root and 4. That's the middle part of this gigundous pattern stack here. I'm not sure how I'm going to use this, except that we have in this pattern stack here, we have the S3XL on the bottom, the 3 whole step intervals, 5, 6, 7, root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that is an E7 because it's a Mixolydian E. Okay, and then it seems like it goes to the 6 there too. On that top line, it'll go to 5 to the 6 again. So basic to this approach is the S3XL to bring us away from the fret nut. The fret nut would imaginarily maybe be here, but it's not drawn on this diagram because this is P4 tuning. In P4 tuning, we don't draw the fret nut because when you warp it, the fret nut will go like this. You know, we don't have a fret nut that's going to be able to do that unless you want to have some, you know, different strings like that, you know. And you can just tune them anyway. You don't have to change their length, you just change their tension. So there's no point in making strings a different length, but they are a different length. It's, you know, like in harp, the strings are a different length. So sorry about that for if I said, you know, put down any way of doing this. There's lots of different ways to do this. So critical to this diagram here is the S4XL sitting on top of the S3XL. Now these S's, S just stands for string. The number is the number of strings, so this is 4 of them, and this is 3 of them. And then the L or the XL or the S is just short, long, or extra long, or super long, SL. The super long one is like this one, this 7 root 2, 3, 4. That's actually a guitar double interval that can be used as a single double interval on the you know, a least common denominator on the violin. So that's where I came up with the S1 super long. So that's the name of that tune up there. This is what we have to know. This is our armor. This is going to stack on top of that. The S4L is going to stack on top of this. Now let's prove that.